So over the last couple of days, your boy has been taking a look at some of the online limitless tours and doing a little bit of a meta analysis, trying to find some, niche underused mons that I think are pretty good in the current metagame. And because of that, today we're going to be taking a look at 5 Pokemon I think are currently being underused in Regulation H. So to kick us off here, if you guys have been around the channel for, a little bit now, at least the last couple of days, you'll see I've been talking a little bit about Hisuian Decidueye, aka a Decidueye. Now, this is a Pokemon that has been on my radar for a little bit, as I'm a big fan of its design, and I think it's really cool and has one of the most broken stab moves ever created, really. But if you guys have paid attention to some of the tournaments recently, its usage has gone up just a little bit, and I believe we saw it get 3 top 32s, I think, in the Himi Tour the other day, which had about 450 players. And because of that, I started taking a bit of a deeper look into this Pokemon and kind of, trying to figure out why people are running it. And, I noticed a couple of really important things. So I will pull up this tab here. This is basically, just the usage stats, right, from the Himi Tour. Again, 450 player event, so pretty massive. And one thing you'll start to notice here, at least that I noticed when I looked at, say, the top 5 to 10 Pokemon here, Rillaboom has a pretty positive matchup. You resist it, you have pretty good bulk. And it sets up grassy terrain for you, which is fantastic as a grass type, gives you a bonus to your stabs. Golden Go is one of the most oppressive Pokemon in the metagame right now, and thanks to its hidden ability Scrappy, which I probably should have mentioned here. You have the ability to basically hit it for super effective damage, even though it is a ghost type, which is really good. Incineroar, fantastic into this as well. Thanks to your ability Scrappy, you can't be intimidated. You also have access to a little known move called Upper Hand, which basically means you can also try to, pin it when it's trying to pin you with Fake Out, which is really cool. And then also thanks to its, its signature move, Triple Kick here, Triple Arrows, you are able to pick up one-shots on Incineroar as well, which is pretty good. Pelipper is a flying type, which can be kind of annoying, but you do have the ability to threaten neutral damage into it with Leaf Blade. Archelodon is another Pokemon as well that is pretty, common right now for setting up, a lot of plus defense thanks to its ability Stamina. But it is a Steel type, meaning it is weak to Triple Arrow. And one of the beautiful effects of Triple Arrow here is it has a high crit, which means when you pair it with Scope Lens, this Pokemon just has a straight up 50% chance to crit, which is very, very good into a Pokemon like Archelodon, right? Into Amoonguss, you're a grass type, you don't care. Most Annihilapes actually get 2-shot by it, especially if you do hit the crits. If you hit the crits as well, it doesn't matter really about the bulk ups. Same thing with Blood Moon Ursaluna here, very weak to Triple Arrow. Same thing with Maushold, weak to Triple Arrow. Palafin here is weak to the Leaf Blade. Indeedee also doesn't want to eat the Triple Arrow. Primarina, weak to the Leaf Blade, and so on, right? Hydreigon also doesn't want to eat a Triple Arrow. So as you guys can see, it has a very positive matchup into a lot of Pokemon, right? Especially near the top of the usage charts, which is why I do think this Pokemon is getting quite a bit of play. Now, there are a couple different sets I think that are pretty good on it. The main one I've personally been testing is this one here. This is the Leaf Blade Triple Arrow stuff. Essentially, with this set here, you just run max Adamant. I will say, I did personally pair this with Electabuzz as well as Talonflame. So I have the speed control from Talonflame, giving me Tailwind's support. And I also had Electabuzz there with Electro Web, because I do think having something like Electro Web is really good in the current metagame. My Terra was Fire, just pretty good on grass types in general. But yeah, with this set here, you have a lot of coverage. We kind of just went through all the mons that compete there. Triple Arrow is absolutely busted. Leaf Blade is also another high crit rate move as well. So with Scope Lens, you essentially just have a 50% chance to crit with your 2 main stab moves. And Upper Hand's really good to things like Rillaboom and Incineroar. And even into, some late game scenarios as well, it can be kind of cool. But yeah, this move here, right here, Triple Arrow, it's got to be the most broken move of all time. The amount of times I've clicked this move and all 3, bonuses have procced is insane. So yeah, I guess a little breakdown for anyone who doesn't know what this is, I should say. Has a high crit, which we said before, so thanks to, Scope Lens, basically will crit 50% of the time. You also have a 50% chance to just lower the opponent's defense by 1 stat, which can be really good, especially into picking up 2 shots on other, on some Pokemon. And then it just has a 30% chance to flinch. The amount of times people lead their Farafrig into me and I just go Triple Arrow, I crit, flinch, get the defense drop, and it's I get a 2-shot now. It doesn't matter. I don't have to crit the second one. It's kind of insane. Also, I click Fairy there. It should be Fire. But yeah, dude, this Pokemon, its stats are really good. Its speed really is the only thing holding it back, and it did kind of get screwed over with this special attack. If it just got the Incineroar treatment, and this was I don't know, maybe say 10, 20 points lower, put another 10 points into speed, another 10 points into HP, I genuinely think this would be one of the best Pokemon in the format. So its stats are just a little off. But nonetheless, this mod is still really, really good. Another set as well that I think can be pretty good on it is the Assault Vest stuff. You're always running Scrappy as well. But I do think you're always just going to go Triple Arrow and Leaf Blade. That is almost always coming on this Pokemon. And then really, from there, it kind of just depends what you need, right? Because this mod does actually have some pretty good stuff, yeah. If you want close combat, Brave Bird, they're very powerful attacks as well. You can run Facade if you think you're going to get faked out. Sorry, if you're going to get Will-O-Wisp. Support moves as well, like U-Turn and Knockoff as well, are both really, really nice as well. So it does have, you know, some pretty good options as well. I believe it gets Trailblaze as well. Also gets Grassy Glide if you're pairing with Rillaboom. So it does have a lot of, you know, nice cool niches there, which I do think is pretty good for this Pokemon. I believe as well, it gets like SD or something, right? I feel like it gets some setup move I'm like forgetting off the top of my head. I knew it got Bulk Up and Coaching. Okay, it doesn't get SD as well, yeah. So this mod has a lot of ways to set itself up. It's honestly pretty good, man. Like, I can see this mod running in a lot of different sets. Like, it also gets Haze as well if you need something for Dozo. It gets Roost to stay around for a long time. It can also set the Tailwind for you. It's got Taunt. I mean, it's just got such a deep bag, man. I really enjoy this mod right now. And yeah, this is probably, like, I think the best way to play it. But of course, it's really team dependent. You can slap an Assault Vest on it if you want. Probably can also run a Focus Sash as well. But yeah, Hisuian Decidueye, very, very good. Carrying on from that, we actually have another Hisuian Pokemon, and it's also another Hisuian starter, and that is Hisuian Typhlosion. Now, I think the big reason this Pokemon has a lot of potential, and we may see it rise up, is really two things, right? One, there is like no real good Choice Scarf users in the metagame currently, right? The most common one you see is probably Annihilate, and that a lot of the time that is like a Scarf Final Gambit Annihilate, right? There is another Scarfer on this list as well that I do want to talk about. But really, when you like look at the metagame here, for example, like none of these Pokemon really want to run Choice Scarf, right? Like you'll see Choice Scarf Basculation if they're running an adaptability set. You'll see a Choice Scarf Tatsugiri, and like that's kind of it. You know, nothing here really wants to run Choice Scarf, right? Rotoms will sometimes run Choice Scarf as well. But yeah, as you guys can see, that nothing really, you know, at least at the top of the usage, is running Choice Scarf. Which, you know, Hisuian Typhlosion is a fantastic Choice Scarf Pokemon because it has, you know, it's a fantastic stab move called Eruption. And it's a Ghost type as well, so it's immune to Fake Out. So as long as your opponent doesn't have speed control, you are pretty safe to, you know, click your Eruptions. But the other thing too is there really isn't that many good, you know, offensive fire types at the minute, at least on the special side. A lot of the special fire types that we'll have a look at here need time to set up, right? So you have a look, you know, Chandelure, obviously, you know, it's pretty good. But Shandy's biggest issue really is it kind of functions as a Focus Sash mon. It doesn't really want to, you know, run with the Choice Scarf item. Volcarona tends to be wanting to build very physically defensive and run Quiver Dance. Armarouge, you know, while it is a, you know, pretty fast special fire off attacker, the thing is it kind of wants to click Meteor Beam or like be in Trick Room. It doesn't really want to click its fire moves as often. And then, yeah, you kind of end up at like Hisuian Typhlosion, even Delphox to a certain extent. But yeah, these tend to be the guys, like even Charizard, like they are, funny enough, some of the best fast fire attackers we have in the game right now. And yeah, I just think this mon right now is one of the best Choice Scarf mons. It can also be one of the best partners as well on Sun, which I do think is pretty underwhelming right now. Sorry, it's pretty underused, I should say, not underwhelming. Obviously, with the amount of rain we're getting, yes, it is kind of underwhelming. But yeah, I could definitely see a set like this, and then just whatever last move you need. I'm pretty sure it gets Solar Beam. Yeah, it gets Solar Beam. You can even run things like Burning Jealousy as well, which I think could be pretty good if you pair it up with something like, let's say Tauros, like Aqua Breed Tauros. You know, you can send in and intimidate, you know, something like the Annihilate, the King Gambit, whatever, and just click Burning Jealousy, get the guaranteed burn, which is definitely cool to keep in mind there. You are probably just running, what's it called, Solar Beam here, but is there anything else? I guess Overheat if you want some instant nuke, but realistically, Eruption should almost always be better. Flamethrower as well is actually probably pretty good for single target. Lava Plume also has a niche as well if you pair it up with something like Dash Bun, which I think actually could be decent. And another one too is Fire Pledge. And we'll kind of get in... Oh, actually, we're not going to get into it in this video, but I do think the Pledge moves are actually pretty good. I do have a team in the builder I stole. I'll actually like quickly show you guys this. Yeah, I ran into this team on the ladder. It was like a Japanese swamp team. And it had like these two set up Swamp, and then I'm guessing this guy also had Fire Pledge, so they could set up the other two effects. So, yeah, I actually think that the Pledge moves, unironically, are pretty damn good right now. But yeah, so Hisuian Typhlosion, really, just one of the best Choice Scarfers in the game. That's the main thing for this guy right now. You know, you run something like this. You run something like this, and you just go like Modest Nature. And yeah, you don't really care. You kind of just like send it in. You put it next to like a Murkrow or a Whimsicott, even a Torkoal if you want. Either click Sunny Day or Helping Hand. And then yeah, just start running through with Terrify Eruptions, man. I think this one's pretty good. So next mon on our list here is Salamence. Now, Salamence, in my opinion, is another really solid Choice Scarf Pokemon at the minute, right? One, again, its speed stat is definitely not bad, but it definitely wants to run a Modest Nature, in my opinion, especially if you're running a special set. And because of that, its speed stat, you know, it's good. It outspeeds most of the other common Choice Scarf Pokemon, but it can still be a little bit slower than, you know, a lot of common meta threats, things like the Hydreigons in the world and whatnot. Because of that, I do really like something like this Choice Scarf plus Modest. And I think this is a perfect answer onto some rain teams for the Pokemon that are pretty good into rain, right? For example, I think Ludicolo is pretty solid into the rain mirrors. Obviously, you know, it has a pretty good matchup into Pelipper. You can get Hurricane, but of course, you know, with any help, you know, Ice Beam +1 normally is going to be strong enough to pick it up. Has a very good matchup into Basculin Legion because you can, you know, basically just switch into the Wave Crashes essentially for free, and then you can also threaten a one-shot. So I do think because of that, having something like the Salamence on your team is very important, right? Especially too when there are Pokemon like Incineroar and whatnot running around. Having the ability to, you know, just switch in and intimidate stuff, I think can be pretty good. But really on this mon, you probably want something along the lines of like at least Hurricane plus like Draco Meteor. And then because you're a Choice Scarf set, from there, it really comes down to whatever you want to do, right? I think having Heat Wave is definitely a decent option. Air Slash as well is like a really good, reliable stab if you think, you know, the weather's going to get changed, or just to have something really if you don't want to miss Hurricanes outside of the rain. Hydro Pump is another pretty interesting one as well, because I do think Terra Water, surprisingly enough, is actually a decent defensive Terra on this one. So like Terra Water, Hydro Pump in the rain is also really solid as well. And you can also go things like Dragon Pulse as well if you wanted, just to have like the consistency without having to worry about getting the -2. But yeah, I think Salamence right now is just really good. Again, like you look at a lot of these top teams, right? Even if we go back to the, I don't want standings. I do want standings. Like you look at this team here, right? Has a pretty good matchup into Annihilate. Obviously, you can give it the Defiant boost, but you can also just, you know, raw Hurricane. You can Hurricane the Sinistcha here. You can Hurricane the Amoonguss. You can drop, you know, potential Hydro Pumps as well into the Golden Goes, and so on and so forth, right? Hurricane into Rillaboom as well, pretty damn strong. So yeah, I think Salamence right now is one of the, you know, the more underrated Pokemon in the metagame, especially because the Dragon types are so good. Like when you look at like the pseudo legends, it feels like all of them are actually like really solid right now, outside of like Goodra. Like really, like we see Arch everywhere, you know, Dragonite's kind of picking, sorry, Dragapult and Dragonite are both picking up quite a bit. Hydreigon's everywhere. Komoa, you definitely see on some teams. And then Hisuian Goodra as well, it's not too bad. So really, outside of like Goodra, they're all pretty good. And Salamence definitely fills that role of like, you know, being a very strong special attacker. And I've also seen people as well on these teams run things as well, like, I've seen like the Clear Amulet stuff as well, right? So there was like one team in particular, I think they were like dual Wing Beat, was like dual Wing Beat, Outrage, and then Temper Flare, I think it was. And then just like Protect. Because that way, if like someone tries to fake you out, then you just get like a double power, Temper Flare next turn as well, which is, it's basically just fire type Stomping Tantrum. Also, I didn't mean to put Scope Lens on that. It was meant to be Clear Amulet, right? Yeah. Dude, how the hell did I get Scope Lens there? Yeah, Salamence, one of my favorite Pokemon in the game, and I think a very underrated pick in the metagame right now. So, in my travels as well, looking for a Pokemon that, you know, kind of helps me play the playstyle I like, I've come across Salazzle. Now, for anyone, I guess, who hasn't, you know, been around the channel for a while, and doesn't know my playstyle, I am basically a Chi-Yu plus Flutter Mane spammer, right? I have essentially run it since Regulation D started last year. I also ran it back in the pre-regulation before, you know, the games technically even dropped, right? And I'm a big fan of Salazzle for that reason, because this one has a few different things, right? One, it's a pretty good focus sash mod. It's too squishy to really do anything bulk-wise, like 68, 60, 60 is just atrocious. But what it does have going for it is a really good speed stat at 117 here, and a very solid special attack stat at 111. Now, I think in my opinion, what makes this mon so good is what it can do. So I really like Terra Ghost just so you can dodge other fake outs if need be. But really, what this Pokemon does best is one, clicks fake out itself, which is always really good. You guys did see it had fake tears there, but even better, has Acid Spray. It also has access to just something like a strong Flamethrower, and then you can also just like slap on a Protect as well if you want. If you don't want to run something like Protect, this one does have a lot of other options. A really cool one is Dragon Cheer. We did see a team like that get very good results in the Himi Tour. And basically what it does is everyone right now is running like this set here, right? They're going like Hydreigon, Scope Lens. I did not mean to click that. Hydreigon, Scope Lens with Focus Energy, right? So with Focus Energy plus Scope Lens, you're guaranteed to crit on your Dracos. Therefore, this mon is a really good check into Dondozo. Because essentially, you know, you just always crit your Dracos, right? You go through it, you know, one, you don't have to worry about your minus stats on Draco. Two, you go through the Omni boost it gets, right? And with Dragon Cheer, you know, next to something like Hydreigon, they don't even have to set up. They can just go Draco Meteor. You're going to outspeed them anyway, and you're going to Dragon Cheer, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good freaking time. And then when it comes to moves like Acid Spray, this just pairs incredibly well with some of the top Pokemon in the metagame, right? Again, you look at this. We have Golden Girl as the #2 guy in the format right now. Give it a fast fake out and an Acid Spray, and this mon is going to be an absolute nuke. Same thing goes with Archaladon, right? This is a Pokemon that naturally likes to buff off its special attack stat. Fire teams do like Rain and Fake Out. Sorry, I said fire teams. Rain teams like fire types. And yeah, again, you can help buff that up. Helps out Blood Moon Ursaluna quite a bit. It's really good with Primarina as well. Obviously, Hydreigon we touched on. There are a lot of really good special attackers that I do think like this Pokemon. And I could even see a world where it pairs up pretty well with like a special Dragapult as well. But yeah, this mon is really, really solid in my opinion. And also thanks to its ability Corrosion, there are a few other things as well you can do. Like I saw one of them running Poison Gas, I believe it was. Yeah, Poison Gas. So this move hits both of the enemies. It's a 90% chance to just poison them. But thanks to Corrosion, you can poison types and steel types, meaning you can lead this into something like Pelipper Archaludon and just poison them. Like you just lead it and then you just poison the Archaludon and then it can't just stick around for the rest of the game. So definitely a really good support piece. I think its ability to have Fake Out plus Acid Spray is really, really good. And as I said before, if you pair this up with some dragon types, it is a very, very cool partner. So the final mon I want to talk about here is Big Clefable. Clef is a very, very interesting one right now because for the most part, it is normally outshined by its friend Clefairy just because of the ability to have Friend Guard. The Big Clef, it does pretty similar things, but does a few other things a bit better in my opinion. One is it has access to Unaware plus Follow Me. This basically means it can just redirect all of Dondozo's hits, and Dondozo essentially just doesn't get the boost from it, right? Another is there's not that many great fairy types in the game right now, so having a pretty solid fairy type with Moonblast is never a bad thing. So really the combination here of Follow Me plus Moonblast is pretty damn good. Also gets access to Thunder Wave as well. And then the last slot really comes down to whatever you want. Normally I run Protect, you can run Recovery move there. You can always slap on Ice Beam as well if you want more coverage. There's a lot of different things it can do, right? But again, when we go back and have a look at the top usage charts, right? We see this guy right here. Yeah, we see this guy right here. Annihilate. He likes to play with Mousehold, right? And what they like to do is they like to just beat you up, right? They like to beat up their friend and start running through with Rage Fist. But the thing is, a lot of the common redirection Pokemon, right, like things like Amoonguss, their biggest issue is grass types or Pokemon holding safety goggles kind of ignore Rage Powder. Because of that, you see a lot of the time Mouseholds running something like safety goggles, right? So that they can just ignore the Amoonguss, they can beat up their partner, and then Rage Fist will just one-shot the Amoonguss. But Big Clef, because it has Follow Me and not Rage Powder, can always redirect Mousehold. And even if the Mousehold goes for something like Taunt on you, because a lot of the time when people see leads like that, they'll just go Taunt plus Protect. I think that's why the item Mental Herb is incredibly good as well with on Clef. Because essentially, it just means like, hey, I'm always getting off at least 2 Follow Me's. Or I'm able to, just like, guarantee at least get off like my Follow Me into Moonblast, whatever it is, right? You're always going to get to turn 2 and you're not going to have to worry too much, which I do think is very important. I also do think the Rocky Helmet stuff as well is also pretty solid. If you're not as scared about the Taunt mouse, you can always just go like Rocky Helmet and just say, hey, I dare you to hit me. You're going to, take 40, sorry, not 40, it'd be like what? 60%, right? I think? Or no, it's 50. It's 50, right? Because I think helmet chip's 1/8, yeah? It's oh no, it is 1/6. Yeah, okay. So if beat up hits you 4 times, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're just doing like what 60-something% there. That's kind of insane, right? What's the math? It's like 67%. I feel like that's too high. But I think that's how the math works out. It's like, yeah, 67%. I'm pretty sure. Pretty crazy. Same thing with Pop Bomb as well. And then yeah, thanks to Unaware, you kind of just you're happy to redirect things from the Annihilate. As long as they can't get their Rage Fizz going, this Pokemon doesn't really care. And with pretty good special attack, with like no investment at all, these Moonblasts are still going to do quite a bit of damage to the Annihilate as well. But yeah, Big Clef is definitely one of the better redirection ones in my opinion right now. Obviously, one of its biggest issues is its matchup into things like Golden Go. But again, there are different ways around that. You go for things like Terra Water, and then you can sit there, throw out T-Waves onto the friends, Moonblast, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty good. But yeah, anyway, guys, they're the ones I wanted to talk about today. Nothing too crazy, It's just like I'm basically preparing for a video tomorrow. I'm hoping it comes out tomorrow. It's just like with the team I built, and I kind of want to discuss the thought process into building the team. And through all that, I kind of just came across these mons. I was like, you know what? I'm focused on another video. Let's just talk about some of these guys that I think are pretty slept on right now. But yeah, anyway, guys, let me know down below what you think of these Pokemon. And like I said, let me know if you think I missed anything else. Obviously, I feel like there's so many Pokemon we still are yet to explore in this current metagame. And yeah, day by day, I'm getting a little closer to finding, something else. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.